Welcome back to the channel, everybody, for episode 33, I think, of our Ottawa Senators franchise mode. We are getting to the last season here. I realized that there's about a week until the NHL 24 comes out, so I'm going to try to finish this series off. We're going to go through one more season with the Ottawa Senators. I'm going to go, I'm going to grind as much as I can to get this out to you guys in a timely fashion. I'm thinking Tuesday this episode will come out on Tuesday, then the next episode will come out on Thursday, and then maybe the last episode coming out on the Wednesday after that, Wednesday the 4th, I believe, and then something like that along those lines is my tentative plan for right now. So if you're enjoying the episode, if you're enjoying the series, feel free to stay tuned. But if you guys missed out on last episode, we are the 2030 Stanley Cup champions, and this was our journey to do so. We beat out Winnipeg in the finals, beat out Philadelphia in the Eastern Conference finals, the Battle of Ontario in round 2, and the very tough Columbus Blue Jackets in round 1. It was a really weird playoff run, each round getting progressively harder than the last one. If we check out our individual stats, it was the DeBrincat, Stützle, Zadorov show for the most part. Though we did have that, background scoring from guys like Walker Reimer, Thomas Chabot, Pablo Kilger, who, scored a lot. I think also Keegan Keatley was a very good point producer for us as well, good goal scorer. And then in the goal, we relied on the rookie Marcus Vishnevsky, who will look to take over the crease next season. So that's an interesting storyline as well. Looking at the awards around the league, we obviously won the Stanley Cup as well as the President's Trophy, beat the Winnipeg Jets in the finals as well. The Art Ross goes to Matthews, as him and Kaprizov had been trading that trophy for the last 4 years. Kaprizov wins the Hart Memorial. Devin Taves wins the James Norris, who we played in the Stanley Cup finals. The DeBrincat wins the Lady Byng Memorial. Para wins the Calder. The Conn Smythe to DeBrincat as well. The Vezina to Jake Ottinger. The William M. Jennings, to Carter Hart, Bill Masterton to Sasaki from Minnesota, and the Jack Adams to the coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Selke goes to Barkov for the 5th straight season. Kaprizov wins the Ted Lindsay for the 4th time in 5 years, and then McKinnon the 2nd year in a row with the Maurice Richard Trophy. So a lot of guys in the league just dominating as always. But in this episode, we're going to go through the comments first before I start anything else. So let me do that real quick. So to start off, we have a comment here from Alexander, who says, "What a heart-pumping first round against Columbus." Yes, we were up 3-1 in the series and then end up going to 7 games, closing it out barely, but a very interesting series that was. Great episode, Cronus. Congrats on the win. Thank you. Can't wait to see the team's growth in the offseason and the decisions you make moving forward. And then a little aside here, he says, "P.S. Are you a Sens fan?" And I did reply that yes, I am a Sens fan. That is the whole premise of this, series, was to try to get my favorite team a Stanley Cup, and we luckily managed to do that before the new game comes out. Next up, we have a comment from Fresh Bread, who says, "What a run! Congrats to you and the team, back to back and belly to belly." Yes, sir. Great team, he says. Now moving forward, definitely just some tweaks, nothing too crazy. He says that he would trade Noah Dobson and Rasmus Andersson to get younger on the D-core. A very interesting suggestion there from Fresh, because if we look at our D-core, we will notice that going off of overall, we have Thomas Chabot and Jake Sanderson, who are not going anywhere for the next few years. Obviously, I did not announce that this was the last season in the last episode, so maybe that changes opinions or things like that, but we do have Rasmus Andersson and Noah Dobson making, $11, maybe $12 million between both of them, so we get rid of one of them, maybe both. That's $12 million we free up to add somebody to this team. And then Jake Clemenson is 21, Petri Louis 21, needs ice time, and Don Ritchie is 21 and needs ice time. So these 3 guys got to make up the bottom 6 or the bottom 3, and these 4 guys need to make up the top 3 basically. So one of them is the odd man out. I'm thinking it's going to be Rasmus Andersson because he's older and he might drop off in overall, but either way, he continues by saying, "Also, if you want to trade DeBrincat, you could, but only for a top 3 pick. but I would not. In my opinion, Cat needs to go, even though he has a great contract. Keep Zadorov, as always, great contract. So, he says, as always, great content, not contract, excuse me. So we were thinking about DeBrincat or Zadorov moving. They are both on $9.5 million deals for this year. But the thing is, we are not in cap trouble whatsoever here. If we look at all our main roster for all our skaters, actually, let's do forwards first. We have all 12 guys that we need on this team signed on. We have DeBrincat, Stützle, Pascal as our first line, Zadorov, Reimer, Kilger as our second line, Alfredson, Tootin, Keatley as our third line. Our fourth line, okay, maybe Tyler Boucher doesn't come back, but that's okay. We have Berkeley Catton, Rick Corrado, and then in the system, we could do Christian Havlet as our fourth line, and boom, we're done. Everybody's in the 80s, and everybody's young and growing. So we're not in cap trouble whatsoever. And then on defense, same thing here. We have Chabot, Sanderson, Rasmus Anderson, Noah Dobson, Jake Clemenson, Petri Louis, and then either Kevin Ball or Don Ritchie as the seventh. Kevin Ball likely does move, and possibly Rasmus Anderson as well, but in reality, we have the space to just do nothing, you know? We do have a goalie situation here. We have to decide whether we want to bring Ilya Sorokin back, who wants $2 million for another year. I think I would rather bring somebody else back, but he was pretty good for us in the regular season with a .908 save percentage, but I don't know, man. I'm just not sure about our goaltending. I'll have to think about that a little bit later. But we are not in cap trouble whatsoever. We have our entire roster signed on for the next year. Don't have to make a decision. We're letting Kevin Ball go. We're letting Tyler Boucher go, most likely. So there's really no reason to panic or make a decision rashly. We also have, Thomas Koppinen in the system that we can sign. So let's go and look forward to the draft now, because I'm really not too worried about trading people or freeing up money for cap problems, but I will look into a trade for Rasmus Anderson. Okay, so if we begin the draft here, let's start the draft up, and there's a few moves that I want to make. Okay, so first of all, the New Jersey Devils want to trade their first overall pick. Now, in reality, it's obviously something that we would want to do, right? We want to get a first overall pick, obviously, in the system, a medium elite prospect. But we have such a logjam of prospects. I don't even want top-end talent, like enter the top 5. I don't want them because I'm going to end up just having a logjam in the system of, these 81, 82 overall NHL-ready guys who are medium elite that can't play. And that's obviously very unrealistic. So we're not going to do that. We already kind of have that in the system anyways. So, but I am looking at, okay, the 9th pick wants to be traded. So I am looking at 10th overall, somebody who's a little bit less NHL ready, Liam Bergfors. He's a two-way defender at 6'5" with all these X factors here, and he's only 2 years away, similar to Zdeno Chara and Psycho Pinch, somebody that could be on our top line for the next 5-10 years kind of a thing. Even though we are finishing this season, or excuse me, finishing the series in this next season, we do still have to think about the future of the Ottawa Senators. So I will be willing to trade for this 9th overall selection in the hopes of picking up that defenseman there at number 10. Now, what would we have to trade? I'm thinking this is where we say goodbye to Berkeley Catton. He was, I think he was our first ever, no, he was like he was our 10th overall selection in 2024. He's a decent defender, 3.5 stars, but just never really grew the way that we know that he can. So we're going to put him in there, as well as, okay, now Los Angeles over the salary cap, so let me find somebody we can bring back. And I'm thinking of Francisco Pinelli or somebody along these lines, a playmaker who can win a draw for us. Maybe it could be our 4th line center slotting in there instead of Berkeley Catton. So I'm thinking about that, and then maybe would that go through just how it is, or should we throw in some picks? I think we should throw some picks in there. Let's go 2 7ths and a 6th. I'm willing to trade this for Francisco Pinelli, and if you give me, they have so many picks this year, oh my goodness, you give me a 7th next year, and then we'll see how that goes. Accepted. Okay, so fantastic. We're going to pick up that 9th overall selection. So let's sim the first 5 picks here. So first overall selection goes to New Jersey. They get Jordan O'Brien, who's a center playmaker, 77 faceoffs, decent prospect for sure, 86 passing, things like that. That's a pretty good prospect, 88 speed and acceleration, not bad at all. For first overall selection, nothing crazy. Second overall, 78 defensive defenseman. Okay, same kind of thing, that fringe NHL player for sure. power forward, center power forward with 4.5-star shooting. Can win a draw, kind of. 76 is okay. But again, nothing crazy here. These are like all fringe NHL guys. Maybe they need one more year. An offensive defenseman, medium elite offensive defenseman. This guy will probably put up crazy numbers for Florida in the future. 5th overall goes to Tulipov in Seattle, another offensive defenseman. So a big year for, offensive defenseman here. But he's 77 overall, so definitely won't be NHL ready next year. And now we get into the medium top 6 kind of guys. So let's simulate to the pick and hope that nobody... Actually, we can just simulate one by one here. Let's hope St. Louis does not take our defenseman. They do. Liam Berg for 71 overall medium elite goes to St. Louis. That's really rough to miss out on. Okay, so now we gotta... man, maybe I should have traded for St. Louis's pick, but we can't go back in hindsight, man. Now I just gotta work the system now. Gotta find somebody that can be that kind of a player for us. And we do have a logjam in the system anyways, so I'm not... not super worried about it. We have great prospects coming up for us. I like this guy, though. Cooper Miller from the WHL. Defensive defenseman, similar to Marc-Edouard Vlasic. He's also 6'5", cycle pinch. Kind of the same player as that Vorgris guy, Bergfors guy, but just a little bit worse potential-wise. But I'm down for that for sure. So let's pick this guy up. Cooper Miller from the WHL. Let's do it all official. With the 12th overall selection, the Ottawa Senators are proud to select from the WHL Cooper Miller. Welcome to the organization, and he's 71 overall, medium top 4. That's great selection from us. When we have 64 overall, 65 overall guys going before us, a 71 overall medium top 4 guy is not bad whatsoever. Obviously, Liam Borgfors is better, but St. Louis decided to take him a little bit above where he was scheduled, so we have to drop back and make our selection, make a different selection. Got to think on the fly. We'll simulate to our pick now and just kind of see who else went. Medium top 6 guys, medium top 4 guys. Yeah, this draft, nothing special. Here we go. Medium top 4 offensive defenseman. That could be interesting. Good for Boston, but really nothing crazy going here. A lot of medium top 6 guys, a lot of medium top 4 defensemen in the 60 overall. So not too worried about that. Didn't miss out on anybody crazy. And now looking at our pick, we're going to have a lot of similar selections like that until this defensive defenseman here. 3 years away, shoot pinch with definitely some X factors. But if we go down a little bit further, I think there's somebody else. Yes, there is. Right here, Leonardo Sabarin, playmaker, 3 years away with potentially puck on a string. I like this guy a little bit better, especially because we just selected a defenseman as well. So I'm going to trade down for the 45th overall pick or so and see if he's still there. All right, let me see if I can do this, Boston. Will you trade up to the 32nd overall pick for the 44th, 5th, and 7th? They do not. Okay, what about just for a 5th? And they accept that. All right, fair enough, Boston. You value your 7th overall pick drastically, apparently. And what do they get with it? They pick up a medium top 9 forward. Wow, fantastic. When they could have picked up at down here at 44, they could have selected from the WHL center from the Seattle Thunderbirds, Leonardo Sabarin. Let's pick him up, and he's at 62 overall, low elite with, okay, some good X factors. He has skilled up, wheels, tape to tape, all alone, puck on a string, quick draw. If he had the medium elite title, this guy could be a first overall pick, man. He has 5 X factors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 6 X factors, I guess, if you want to use the other ones. And then the other low elite defenseman here, yeah, not nearly as good. I'm very proud of this selection. Really happy that we picked up Sabarin instead of that other defensive defenseman. So good with that selection for sure. Next up, we have pick at 64, and just had to do my due diligence there a little bit to make sure we're not missing out on anybody crazy, and I don't think we are. I think this is just going to be kind of a normal pick here, looking at maybe George Del Rio, Murray Malone, potentially Vincent Biega or Vincent Biega or something like that, but he's 4 years away, so I don't think that's like all these basically these 5 guys down here are what I'm deciding between. I don't like the defensive defenseman. I don't think that he'll grow too much. This guy's 4 years away, as is this guy. So really between these two guys. Would I rather get a center sniper or a left wing grinder? I'm thinking center sniper, so let's pick him up from the OHL, George Del Rio. If you know, you know. Shout out any of my WWE fans. Anyways, let's see what he is. He's low top 6, 62 overall, classic center who can't take face-offs, playmaker, 77 passing is good. So pick up 2 center playmakers in this draft already. Now 96 is my next pick, and we will simulate to that pick where I will make my selection, and I know exactly who I want to get because we sort by potential now. I am definitely looking at both of these selections. So at 96, we might be reaching for 106. He's a medium elite center left wing sniper. So maybe can play on the left wing of that second round pick we just selected. What was his name? Sabourin, I believe. So let's see. Caden Cizek from the QMJHL. Caden Cizek. I don't know, man. You just throw a French accent on me, right? Maybe it sounds okay. I don't know how you would say that in if you were French. 48 overall, medium elite player, sniper with 1-star shooting. Obviously, not going to be anything as a 48. Not going to have the overall there. So just a potential pickup. Still have to look out, as I said before, you still have to look out for the future of this team, regardless of the fact that our series will be up here fairly shortly. Next pick at 117 now. We will just simulate to it and pick up, where is he? We're just sorting by potential now. Just going to take our guys. No need to trade down. The value is just, very inconsequential. Again from the QMJHL, this time from St. John Sea Dogs, we're getting Georges Vanier. I love the name Vanier. Love it. 56 overall goalie. Wow, medium elite. Love to see that. 56 overall is not bad at all, actually. He could be, an AHL guy in 2 years, 3 years. That is very nice. Then we'll just sim to pick 128. At this point in the draft, we are really reaching for our guys just because at the end of the day, we have the advantage of seeing that, all the low elites and all that stuff just by the way that I scout. It's pretty easy to tell. So, we kind of have the advantage there. 5 years away here, but he's going early and he's a gem. Don't think we can pass up on Dylan Pelletier. We're really going for the Le French Canadien. So let's pick him up from the USA West, right? I guess he's not a French Canadian, from the USA West. What am I saying? What's his name? Dylan Pelletier. Okay, 2-way forward with half a star of defense. Classic. 52 overall, low elite pickup. Love to see it. Going to pick 160 now. This is the bad part about winning the Stanley Cup, is that whenever you make your selection, you always have to go back to the last round and go all the way to see who you picked up and what their overall is and things like that. For this one, I'm thinking we get the offensive defenseman, another defensive prospect in the system, 5 years away, Ron Sloan. Welcome from the OHL. Our Canadian and American skills really went off this year, bro. We got a bunch of QMJHL guys in here. We got some OHL prospects. We got the USA West, was he? That last guy we just picked up. So really good draft so far. Everybody has been elite or, low elite or higher, which is insane. So I'm very, very proud about that. Over here now, who do we pick up? 6'5" guy. This guy's 6 feet. This guy's 6'1". Do we go for size? I think we do. He's 210 as well. They're all 18. So age doesn't matter. They're all left wingers. They're all basically 2-way forwards. Let's just go for the biggest guy here. He's 6'5" from Liga. Or do we go for this guy? No, he's 20. Okay. Hannu Puistola. How would you say that, man? Any Finnish people watching, let me know. But we're going to pick him up. He's a 54 overall, low elite 2-way forward. To be fair, though, he has some decent stick checking at 75 already. Also speed 71. Like, he's not an awful prospect whatsoever. Kind of 1-star everywhere. And then that is going to do it for our draft. I know there are many players that we could take just based off potential, but don't want to rob the league of everybody, man. There's still 4 low elites out there for the taking, so another team can have those players. We're going to sim the entire draft and then get to the free agency, and we don't really have a lot that we have to do at free agency. So we pick up some pretty big prospects here. We trade up to 9th overall. Then with our 32nd selection, we trade down to 44, where we pick up Sabrin. What was his first name? I don't remember. And then the rest of the draft was some low elite prospects. So good draft from us. Looking towards the future, despite us not being the GM for much longer. We've been given, this is our last year of our contract, and we are, content with the fact that we are not going to be re-signing on. So no bad blood held between myself and new owner Michael Andlauer. Just, it's just business, man. That's just how this works. So we're going to look at the team here. We do have Francisco Pinelli, who we picked up in that trade, who wants $6 million for 6 years. I don't know if we're going to sign you to that, my friend. I don't know if we're going to sign you that, especially because we don't need to. Looking at the main roster, our roster is pretty much set here. DeBrincat, Stützle, Pascal, Ruslan Zadorov, Reimer, Kilger, Alfredson, Tootin, Keatley, then Corrado, Havlid, and pick up a fourth-line center in free agency, man. We don't need to sign Francisco Pinelli to a 6-year contract, so we're going to let him go. Because at the end of the day, you're just someone we got at the draft, my friend. We don't need you on 6 years, $6 million. We just don't. Yeah. Even though I know, an 84 overall on our fourth line would help us out. I know it makes, it doesn't make sense for us. We're still a GM, we still have to think about the future, even if we're not going to be here for it. We can't set up our, whoever takes over our place for failure. So Francisco Pinelli, get released, my friend. We will have to think about Boucher and Edstrom, though. So Boucher at 1.8, Edstrom at 1.5. Edstrom, you're gone, buddy. You were some decent depth, but can't have that contract. Matthew Phillips, you want a two-way deal, you can sign that. Puistinen, you can sign a two-way deal. Ekmark, you can sign a two-way deal if you want it 1 year, though. And low elite Morozov, you don't want a contract, you want a one-way deal. I'll just qualify you and deal with you later. And then Stevens here, who you want your entry-level deal for sure. There we go. See, just quick as that, boys. Just quick as that. Let's go to defensemen now, all expiring. Kevin Ball, it was great to have you on board, my friend, but we already don't have space for you, so have fun in free agency. Hope you can find somewhere to play. Kapanen, you get your entry-level deal for sure. Frank Krall now. I think we can let him go because we do have some guys that we have to sign to. Frank Krall, good having you on board, but we're going to let you walk. Melnick here, I forgot about Melnick. Rich Melnick. What a fitting name for somebody named Melnick. Offensive defenseman, 90 passing, 88 deking, 82 offensive awareness. Like this guy, he has good passing stats for sure. Not a great skater, but that will come with time. Low top 4 potential. We'll get him on board. And then also Betts, Harold Betts, who we drafted 2 years ago in the 3rd round, has not grown very much. Two-way defender, still 62 overall. Definitely give him a contract, but has not been growing very much. Goaltending now, it's Ilya Sorokin, who wants 1 year, 2.5. We could definitely do it. I just think that Sorokin's probably going to be dropping off, and there's going to be... I'm thinking about making a splash in free agency for a goalie because it's the only spot where we really don't have somebody. We do have Marcus Vishnevsky, obviously, and we have a high elite goalie in the system, but Vishnevsky, still 22 years old, he's not gonna be able to just take the crease like that. So I'd be down for somebody who's a little bit higher overall in free agency, especially because we have $13 million to mess with. So Ilya Sorokin, thank you for 2 Stanley Cups. You were a big factor in, our last 2 years. Let's sort by, there we go. Our last, wait, wasn't he in Ottawa? What is it? Why is it showing me that he played for, oh, that was last year. Yeah. So we picked him up 2 years ago. Played 57 games for us. Then he played 63 games for us the year after that. He got, he has 72 wins as an Ottawa Senator. He's got 7 shutouts. He had some good seasons with us for sure. He helped us win 2 Stanley Cups. So no ill will towards you, Ilya Sorokin. Just, it's that time of year. You're growing a little bit older. So we're going to let you go somewhere else to another contender and maybe try to be a backup goalie to somebody who's really strong. Other than that, though, maybe in free agency, maybe if there's nobody else, we might re-sign you. But for right now, we're going to have to release you. Levi Marilyn, and you can sign back on as the starting goaltender in the AHL. And that does it for the contracts, I believe. I think I just cleaned that up real fast. Offer everybody a contract. Think about Tyler Boucher. Could be our 7th guy. But I don't know. You know what, Tyler Boucher, we don't need more of a logjam in the system. You've been in the Ottawa Senators organization for how long now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years in the NHL. A year after that. So basically, you've had 7 years in the Ottawa Senators organization. We commend you for your service. 74 points in 424 games. You've got great defensive stats, but I don't need more of a logjam in my system. I already have so many guys at, around 78. Actually, I don't have as many as I thought I did, to be honest, but we have a bunch of 78 overall guys here. Really, Greg, who was never given a chance because his potential was medium top 9 when I started this instead of medium top 6, which it really should have been. So, unfortunately, Ridley Gregg kind of got messed up in this franchise mode, but hopefully in your franchise modes he grew because, he should really be a medium top 6, but when I started this series, he was medium top 9, so I can't really do anything about that, can I? I can't go back in time and change it, so... Or else he would have had a much bigger role, as I thought that Tyler Boucher would have had a bigger role in this series. We gave him some chances, we gave him third line ice time, just never grew, so kind of got stuck in that third, fourth line role. And we thank you for your service, we thank you for the 2 Stanley Cups that you got us, but we're going to have to release you as well. Other than that, though, a lot of, I ran through this real quick, so I hope everybody was following along at home, taking your notes, using your notepads. Just kidding, you guys are smart. You don't need to take notes. Don't need to study for your exams. Anyways, here we are. I'm gonna do the scouting, make sure all the scouts sign on, and then we'll get to free agency, baby. Alright, so let's advance a few days here. Rich Melnick gets signed on, Matthew Phillips gets signed on, Puistinen, Levi Merilainen, Andrew Stevens, Elliot Ekmark, Harold Betts, all these guys was never really in doubt. And I'm just gonna double check our contracts and make sure that everybody signs on. I think that coach said, I don't feel like the title you've offered is appropriate given my skill set, even though he wanted to be exactly what I gave him. So that's classic EA at its finest. Oh yeah, we just have that RFA to sign, but everybody else is all good. So let's just get to free agency and see who's out there for goalies most likely. So here we go, let's just sign. Scouts signing on here. Okay, so here we are at free agency day. We can also look at the contracts and see if we would like to re-sign DeBrincat and Stützle to contracts. DeBrincat wants 12 mil. Stützle wants how much? 11 mil. Oh my gosh, Stützle taking a massive discount, bro. We signed Stützle 8 mil, 11 point, 10 mil. You can sign him 8 years, 10 mil. Easy. That's crazy. Ruslan Zadorov wants 13 though for 8 years. Pablo Kilger wants, 10 mil for 4 years. Like, we would have been in trouble if we kept this series going. We would be in a little bit of cap trouble. We would definitely have to make some decisions between guys. I'd probably decide that Dimitri Tutin goes, but we could sign him to 8 years on cheap contracts. So, we'd have to make some decisions, but thankfully this is our last year, so we don't have to make any. I can pawn that off to the other GM, just say, they weren't really thinking about contract extensions with us, so we'll give them over to you. We'll see who's in free agency here. Lafreniere is here, who grew to a 91. Good luck getting that in the real world, my friend. What has Lafreniere been doing in the simulation? I mean, he only scores 60 points. He's a 60-point scorer, and he's asking for $13 million. Are you kidding me? He's asking for Matthews money. Crazy stuff. It's not based on performance in this game. It's based on overall. Other than that, though, looking at UFA, Sebastian Aho is here. Obviously, Sebastian Aho would be a crazy pickup. But again, still have to think a little bit about the future, even though we're not going to be here. Although we could bring back Josh Norris for a year. He could be our fourth-line center for like a year. Oh my goodness. The storyline. Bring Josh Norris back. On a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. Oh, baby. I want to do that so bad. Let's look at goalies first, though. Hang on. We could pick up Jeremy Swayman. Okay, I like Elvis, but Elvis is a little old. I'd be down for Jeremy Swayman. Like, he wants 7 mil, so like 1 year. Although we could try to lowball him because nobody's interested right now. Somebody eventually will be. We could also go for Caden Primo instead. But I'd be down for like a Jeremy Swayman. 1 year, $7.5 million, just to make sure we get him. Then $7.5 million leaves us with $7 million, and we could sign Josh Norris to like 1 year at, 4.750. Oh my goodness, I love this idea, bro. I really do. 4.75 over Josh Norris for 1 year. I know you guys are thinking, what are you, insane? He's an 85 overall. He's a sniper. You know, he could be on our penalty kill or our power play lines. He could be on our penalty kill lines as well as 4-star penalty kill or 4-star defense. I really like Josh Norris, and it brings the story back together. Our last season, we reunite with the player we didn't want to trade all those years ago, but we felt we had to because of his, you know, how he performs in the simulation. He was making like $8 million. It just wasn't working for us. We had to trade him. Oh, bro, it could be perfect. Also, his production heavily declined. Luckily, in this universe, he's gotten back on track health-wise, having like 8 full seasons of 82 games played. It does feel like everybody kind of plays 82 games, but either way, I love this story. So I'm going to offer Josh Norris a contract here for 1 year, come back to Ottawa, making $4.75 million. Come on, Josh, let's do it. I want to make. Wait, hang on. Am I making even a bigger logjam in the system? But the storyline's too good. It doesn't matter. We need a fourth line center anyways. So I'm doing it to Josh Norris, 4.7 for 1 year. Come on, my friend, join us back in Ottawa. We love to have you back. We're gonna have a massive ceremony when you come back as well. And then let's go with Jeremy Swayman here, 7.5 for 1 year. No reason not to. We have everybody signed on. Just giving them 1 year contracts, it's not going to be a big deal. We're going to have that high elite goaltender maybe joining us in next year, or sorry, not next year, but the year after that. So I really don't see anything wrong with Swayman and Josh Norris coming to the team. So we offer them those contracts. And let's just simulate a few days here, boys. I am super pumped about these two possible signings here. Also, AHL coaches, I just kind of offered some contracts to. But here we go. A few more days go, and this is the day when it all goes down. Will they accept my offers? We have Jeremy Swayman is on board. Love to see it. He also has some X factors. That's great. Come on, Josh. Come back to Ottawa, my friend. Josh Norris. I'm truly humbled that you chose to offer me such a lucrative contract. I won't let you down. You've really helped set me up financially. Well, Josh, you were a big part of this franchise in the real world, and I want you to be a big part of the franchise. And we're gonna win you a Stanley Cup, baby. We're gonna go back to the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Stanley Cup Finals. We're gonna win you a cup. Now, if I were doing this, just to be real with you guys, if I were doing this for real, I would sign Tim Stützle to an 8-year deal at like $10 million, something like that. That would leave us with $33 million of extension. I'd probably let DeBrincat walk at that stage just because he's getting a little old. Just doing this off the top of my head as well, not like writing anything down. Looking at Ruslan Zadorov, it's not a horrible contract, but it's kind of a lot to swallow, but definitely is making, playing above point per game. It's an okay contract for sure. Pablo Kilger, though, is kind of tough to swallow. Maybe a 6-year deal at just above 8 million, 8.5 million, something like that. And then other than that, we'd be okay. So, Dimitri Tutin could be a 4-year deal, keeps him in RFA, so 4-year for sure. Rick Corrado, we would be okay. I think we would still be okay, actually. I said we wouldn't be. If we let DeBrincat walk, we would be okay for sure. Now, other than that, the Rasmus Andersson trade is the big question going into this season. So I'm going to go to the preseason. I'm going to show you what the team looks like. You guys will let me know what to do about Rasmus Andersson and or Noah Dobson, okay? So let me get there, and let's see what the team is looking like. Okay, and here are the Ottawa Senators currently. Now, Josh Norris did drop to an 83 overall, but to be honest, not really too worried about that whatsoever. What I am worried about is the depth we have on this team. We have Robert Alfredson as an 85 overall medium elite. This guy needs to be getting second line time. On our team, though, he's getting third line ice time, to be real with you. That's just kind of how it is. Other than that, Pablo Kilger can kind of take draws, so maybe we do something like this. Christian Havlat on that fourth line with Josh Norris, Rick Corrado. Scratched players, Don Ritchie's here. So this is where the big question on defense comes in. Noah Dobson has now dropped to an 83 overall, so I think it's safe to trade Noah Dobson. Without question. And Jake Clemenson and Petri Louis up to 83s. Jake Clemenson, who has been stuck at an 81 since, I think his second year in the NHL, now grows to 83. So that's massive, massive growth out of him. We do have Petri Louis here, who can get some ice time. I think now's the time where we go something like this, And then instead of Noah Dobson, or instead of Rasmus Anderson up there, we go Noah Dobson. Rasmus Anderson now becomes Don Ritchie. I'm happy for this trade, to free up some money for us. Don Ritchie comes in instead. So our third D pairing is Don Ritchie, Petri Louis. Second is Jake Clemenson, Thomas Chabot. First is Jake Sanderson, Noah Dobson. In goal, it's Jeremy Swayman. And Marcus Vishnevsky was up to an 85 overall, making $1 million for the next 2 years. That is lucrative, bro. That's so insane. But great to see. So other than that, though, this is the team, what we look like. They look poised and ready to, cause some mayhem. We could also do Pablo Kilger on that second line as he was last year. We could do Keegan Keatley up on that second line, Pablo Kilger on the third. There's so many different options we can do. We could even do Robert Alfredson on that third line if you guys would like to do that instead. But I think this being our lines for right now makes the most sense, having Stützle, Zadorov, Tootin, and Josh Norris. To be fair, Ruslan Zadorov, much more of a winger than a center, so it could even be something like this, where Pablo Kilger not playing in the center, but playing on that right side. We just have so many options. It's pretty insane. Defensively, I like it. Goaltending, I obviously like it as well. 285 overalls. I mean, this team is just clicking on all cylinders, it looks like anyways. Looking at power play, I will definitely work on this a little more because we have 3 playmakers here. I'd like to get either Dimitri Tootin or Damien Pascal in there instead. But is Damien Pascal on that second unit? Yes, he is. Taking that one-timer, huh? We could do Pablo Kilger maybe on that first unit. I'll definitely work it out myself, but you guys let me know what you think there. Looking in the penalty kill, it's got to be Robert Alfredson on that first unit because, he's an 85 overall medium elite. He's got to be getting as much time as possible. I like Jake Clemenson on the penalty kill. Over here, Tim Stützle, Rick Corrado works for me. Don Ritchie not going to be on that. Let's get Petri Louis there, actually, yeah. Work him. Well, let's go Petri Louis and Jake Clemenson on that first pair. Second pair will be Thomas Chabot, Noah Dobson. Third pair will be Dimitri Tootin, Pablo Kilger. 2 snipers on the penalty kill. They don't have great defensive stats. Pablo Kilger's okay. 4 stars. Do we really have Josh Norris there? Let's get Ruslan Zadorov. I know he can't take draws, but he does have good stats. He has 5-star defense, so Pablo Kilger will take the draw. Ruslan Zadorov will play the defense. I like that. 3-man penalty kill, Josh Norris, Tim Stützle, and Dimitri Tootin. How about Josh Norris, Tim Stützle? Not Ruslan Zadorov because we got to win the draw, which is pretty important. So who can play defense here? Damien Pascal actually has pretty good defense. Jake Sanderson obviously does as well. Walker Reimer. Actually, I like Walker Reimer's defense. Let's put Walker Reimer in there for now. It can always change, though, boys. Remember, it can always change. Extra lines now. Stützle, DeBrincat, Sanderson, Dobson looks good. Zadorov, Reimer, Chabot. Not Don Ritchie. I don't know why they have Don Ritchie so high on their lines. Jake Clemenson will do. Then Tootin, Pascal. Don Ritchie, Petri Louis, I like that. 3-on-3, Stützle, DeBrincat, Sanderson, sure. Zadorov, Reimer, not Dobson, though. We want to do Chabot. Then third, Tootin, Pascal, Dobson. Looks good to me. Extra attackers being Tim Stützle and Alex DeBrincat. Are they on the same line, though? Yeah, they are. So why don't we do Pascal? Let's do Damien Pascal. Oh, sorry, I did scratched instead of extra lines. We will do Damien Pascal instead of Alex DeBrincat. Because realistically, either the first line or the second line is going out there. If you're on the same line, there's really no reason to do it. Shootout looks fine to me. And I think, boys, that's going to do it. So we're going to get to pre-season in the next one. And actually what I'm going to do in the next episode is I'm going to run through the entire season, whether we win or lose. Not the playoffs, but the regular season. I'm going to go through all 82 games and make the decisions on my own at the trade deadline. I know part of the series is getting your guys' feedback and doing what you guys suggest because I like building that community aspect to, my channel, and I kind of, pride myself on actually doing what you guys suggest. So for this one, I want to see a trade that you guys would like, either trading Rasmus Anderson for picks or prospects, or potentially something else that we might need, although I don't know what it is. We brought Josh Norris back to the team in this episode. We picked up Jeremy Swayman in free agency. We had a great draft as well, so very, very happy with how the team is. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm going to be trying to get these out to you in a timely fashion. With all that being said, peace out, everybody.